Hey everybody! So those who have a farmer in an apple, how they put 11th and the moon. Crazy, right? When we read the farmer is Newton, you may be thinking, Newton was not a farmer. He was the greatest physicist of all his time. And you're right. But did you know that before being a physicist, he was the son of a farmer widow who didn't even want to send to school? Because his dream was that her son would be a great farmer. But a physicist, philosopher, theologian, mathematician that gave the basis for modern mechanics and optics, the co-inventor of calculus, and then wrote tons of books in the sciences. I know that because he was a turbo farmer, and his uncle was a priest convinced his mother to send him to school. Great for him, and for science. Well, you probably know that Newton was a pretty good scientist. But even more than that, his work really changed many sciences. And most of it is still used today. Remember these guys. Want an example? For that we need to go back to how an apple of the 11th plant. All this started when Newton was walking in his mother garden, and he saw an apple falling from a tree. It probably hit him. But the point is that 300 years later, the apple was landing in the moon. Well, this is my breakthrough junior challenge video. I hope you liked it. Bye! Only joking, guys. What actually happened was that he was the first person who asked, why do things, and in this case, apples, fall? In other words, why are things attracted to Earth? And that was the start of the universal gravitational law, that basically states that every object is attracted to each other with a force. Let's say, for example, that this was the Earth and this was the Moon. Obviously, you know that the Moon is attracted to the Earth by a force, and also the Earth is attracted to the Moon by a force. Why doesn't the Earth go around the Moon then? That's because the Earth has much more mass than the Moon. So the point is, the two objects affect this force. And if you have more mass, you attract objects that have less mass. He also discovered an equation that can help you measure any force of attraction between any two objects. The equation goes like this. F, that's the force, is equal to the first mass, m1, times the second mass, m2, divided by the distance squared. This means that the distance is inversely proportional to the force. If you have more distance, you have less force. And if you have less distance, you have more force. And directly proportional to the mass. So, if you have less mass acting on the speech, you have less force. And if you have more mass, you have a bigger gravitational attraction. I need to know here another component for this equation, because a small mass object, let's say this ball or me, didn't have as strong attraction as the equation predicted. He knew that he needed a constant, and he named this constant G. G was a little number that was discovered by a scientist 100 years after Newton. He discovered that G was 0.11067. Well, it makes perfect sense, because it decreases the force between the small mass objects to a logic scale. So the last equation would be F, that's the force, equals G times m1 for mass 1 times m2, mass 2, divided by the distance squared. But the question is, how did Newton help Apollo 11 land the moon? I mean, he lived 300 years before. Well, this equation we have been speaking about was crucial for the landing of Apollo 11, because depending on the gravitational pull of the moon on the Apollo, it needed to go faster to enter the gravitational pull of the moon, or slower, preventing crash. Well, I think in this video I have demonstrated how a farmer and an apple can help Apollo 11 to land the moon. But what made this farmer different? I mean, how many farmers do you know that are the father of modern mechanics? Only one? Me too. I think that more than he had hurrying to the rest of the mortals in his time, it was the way he questioned himself. Like when he saw the apple falling. He asked why. That I think was what made Newton, Newton. And what can make any passion for the science escape from the norm and simply see the world like a great big why. So simply ask yourself,